We're going to be testing some new makeup today. I just got back from Sephora because I have been trying to get my hands on these new Huda products, and this primer has been sold out like at every single store. I finally found it at a Sephora and Kohl's. So I have been dying to try the new Huda Easy Blur line. This has been trending everywhere lately. And we also have a beautiful new collection from Fantasy Cosmetica and Makeup Just for Fun, just in time for fall. This is so cute, so let's get into it. So this primer from Huda has been going viral all over online because it's supposed to be a very blurring primer. Usually I don't really care about blurring primers, I'm more into the mattifying ones, but I am still very curious about this one. It's supposed to be blurring without the silicone. I cannot stand silicone in my products because it makes it slippery and greasy, and I tend to get very oily with those, so silicone free definitely had me intrigued here. This was literally the last one at my Sephora. It says it gives a lightweight soft focus effect. So we're going to be trying this, but I'm just going to try it on half the face today. Since we are testing a new foundation, I want to see if I like this Huda primer better or if I like it better with my favorite right now, which is the One Size Oil Sucker. So this definitely kind of gives a silicone look. It honestly looks, if you guys remember, the Glowish line had a jelly primer and it had this rose tint to it. That's kind of what it looks like and kind of what it feels like too. Let's like zoom in real close. My pores aren't like super visible. I don't have the largest pores. I would say they're like medium size. But let's go ahead and just kind of smooth this onto the skin and we'll see kind of what it does. It does look like really blurring and smoothing. I will say that right off the bat. And it doesn't feel too slippery where it feels like oil slick like the typical silicone primers do. It honestly feels like their other rose primer to me. So that's what this side looks like with primer. This is without. You can see it did cut a little bit of the shine, and I do feel like this side does look just a tiny bit more blurred altogether, in my opinion. What do you guys think? This side just looks a lot more shiny. I didn't notice like a magical transformation like I've seen in some of the TikToks, but I feel like sometimes that's just unrealistic, you know? So I'm going to use my Oil Sucker primer from One Size on the other side here, just so we can see kind of what primer holds up better on me. This one is amazing for oily skin. It's my new fave. It just sucks the oil right up. Now you can tell this side is more mattified than the other one. Alright, now that we are primed, let's go in with the foundation. I have been excited to try this one, the Easy Blur Natural Airbrush Foundation. So I feel like I've been hearing good things about this one, which has me very excited. I like a lot of Huda stuff, but I will be honest, I haven't loved a lot of their skin products, or their foundations, I should say. But this one, I love the whole campaign for it. Huda's kind of all about no filters now. Their whole brand is kind of rebranding. I actually need to pick up their powder again because they came out with it in a non-scented version. And I love it. Yeah, the whole no filter thing makes me so happy. I love seeing makeup on natural skin as it should be. This foundation retails for $37, and I did notice that there is a smaller size if you guys buy it on the Huda site, which I thought was really cool because sometimes you just want to try it, and if you're like me, you love trying a lot of foundations, so you might not need a full size right away. They have little minis on Huda's site, which is awesome. Not on Sephora though, but it's described as a lightweight, medium to buildable coverage that's non-comedogenic. Love that. So it means it's not gonna clog the pores for breakout prone skin. This is so important. And also it's ultra blurring for an airbrushed finish. So it's going to have niacinamide to smooth and refined texture and tone, and silica, which is supposed to kind of blur the pores, which isn't silica a form of silicone? I'm still kind of confused on what that ingredient is, but the primer is supposed to be silicone free. This one does not say silicone free, so I don't know if silica is silicone. We'll see. I usually don't like silicone stuff, but let's try this out. I got the shade 200B Shortbread. I like to squirt some on my hand here, about this much, and then dip my brush into it. And this might be like a little dark for my face, but it should end up matching with my neck. I did test out the color in store today. So this is supposed to be, I think it's a neutral undertone, I think. But it does lean like slightly more, I would say, yellow. Of course, this isn't like full coverage, but it is covering these blemishes really nice. It's been my time of the month and my skin loves to break out during that time. So I've also been on the plane and stuff. Literally, I got a huge breakout. I think it was this one right when I got off the plane. So annoying, but it is what it is. I feel like this applied really smooth. It's very nice. I do feel like it is a little blurring. Kind of covered the imperfection, but it's not, it covers imperfection, but it's not full coverage, so you don't feel like it's really heavy. It doesn't feel like anything on the skin. It's very lightweight in my opinion. If you're looking for a good blemish concealer, I've been really liking the Jouer high coverage one. This one stays in place really nicely and it's high coverage, so it's going to cover those spots. So I'm just going to quickly cover those with this concealer just so we're a little bit more perfected. I'm gonna just let that sit for a minute. I will blend it out in a second, but I'm zooming you guys in so we can move on to the eyes next. I am so excited for this new eyeshadow palette. It's from one of my favorite indie brands. So you may not have heard of them, but if you watch my channel a lot, you probably know because this is literally in my top 3 indie brands ever. Fantasy Cosmetica, and they did a collab with one of my friends, Makeup Just for Fun, on YouTube and Instagram. You probably know her. If you guys like Colourpop, you definitely know her on YouTube. She does the best Colourpop reviews, like so many comparisons. She has literally every eyeshadow palette, and her Instagram is like so aesthetic. She takes the most gorgeous photos. So this is like the ultimate fall palette. It's called Enchanted Autumn. Beautiful design. Fantasy Cosmetica is all about like the magical, whimsical things. And look at this color story. It just screams like a muted fall dream. And let me tell you, it looks even better in person. It's stunning. I did swatch this one for you. It's swatched so good. The mattes are so creamy. The shimmers are foiled and beautiful. Truly such a stunning palette. So Makeup Just for Fun, or Amanda, also has her own little jewelry business. She also makes a couple other little knickknacks, but she had these cute little fall earrings for the launch. Adorable. She's made me like a necklace and some earrings as well for my last Creators and Friends trip, which was so sweet. She's just such a nice person. There's also going to be some tinted lip balms in this collection, but I don't know if we'll be trying those today because I kind of want to try some new ones I got from Laura Mercier. But this is going to be launching September 13th, and it includes a palette, a candle, and 5 shades of lip balm, which I am burning the candle currently. And it's a fall woody dream. It literally smells like you're walking through an enchanted forest. So good. And it has a wood wick, so you get the like the crackling noise, which I love so much. So I'm just all in all so excited to play with this. I'm just blending out my concealer here. All right, let's play here. I do have some green on today, so we're kind of going for the earthy vibes. I think I want to take this golden yellow first. This is such a beautiful color. And this is gonna go here in the crease. Oh, yes. That's stunning. I love when the colors look exactly like they do in the pan. So pigmented, but still blendable. But this is just the perfect little mustard yellow brown. You know what I haven't seen a lot of this year is Halloween palettes. I feel like last year there was so many, especially from the indie brands. I mean, I don't know if this one would be considered Halloween. This one's more like fall to me. I feel like last year we had more Halloween palettes. This year we have a little bit more like fall palettes. Maybe some are gonna start popping up soon. But I always like to like start seeing them here in like September, so I can enjoy them all October. Since there's not really like a darker shade to blend in the outer corner, I'm actually going to just use that same mustard shade. I'm just going to take that in the outer corner as well, just using a different brush, and just kind of blend this all over the eye. Since this one does have pretty good depth, normally I'd probably do like a darker brown in the crease, but there's not really a brown in this palette. So let's do this. Just blend it all over. And then for the lower lash line, I'm actually going to take this matte green here and lightly blend that as a base. just for a little pop of green. And then just taking a small brush like this. This is just a BK204. I wet this and I'm going to go into the Scorpio color, which is kind of like a green shift. And I'm going to actually go on top of that matte color with this on the lower lash line, just to have shimmer under there. And a little bit more dimension. And I'll just blend those edges with that same green that we used. Just smoke it out a little bit. For shimmer, I'm going to go in with Luna here, just on my finger. I love the Fantasy Cosmetica shimmers. This is kind of like a bronze gold. I'm just pressing that onto the lid here. That is such a pretty shimmer. I think I kind of want to leave it at that. Maybe I should add just like, maybe I'll add a little bit of Harvest Moon. This deeper gold just in like the outer half, just to have a little bit more dimension. But overall, this is just a fairly neutral look, but so pretty. I am just adding some brown eyeliner here in my waterline. It's kind of a brownish red actually, but this is just a Laura Mercier one in Cocoa. And we'll clean up the under eye with one of my faves, the Huda Faux Filter Concealer. This one's a pretty good fuller coverage concealer. And now we're all cleaned up and ready for mascara. I did recently receive this Laura Mercier mascara, which I think is a newer version. It's called Caviar Extravagant, and I think their old one was just called Caviar. And to be honest, I didn't really love the old formula. I felt like it just didn't really do much of anything. I can be a little picky when it comes to mascaras, so I thought we would go ahead and try this out. It does say it's supposed to be volumizing and lengthening, and flake proof, smudge proof, and strengthen the eyelashes as well. This is what the wand looks like. Looks very fluffy. So let's go ahead and put this on. I don't really feel like doing lashes today, so hopefully this will be good. I can tell off the bat it's a very wet formula, which I don't always love. Sometimes the wet formulas I need to like dry out for a bit. But I'm just really gonna try and coat these lashes. I'll let it dry and then we'll go in with like a second coat to see if we can build it up. But right now I feel like it's making them like really fluffy and soft. I definitely think it looks better than their original formula though. It's definitely buildable. This is way better than the original. Of course, I still need to see if it smudges or transfers, because that is always an issue for me since I do have more oily skin. But it's actually building really, really nice. And yeah, they do look very voluminous, fluffy, not too spidery or clumpy at all. I feel like that looks actually really good, way better than I thought. We're gonna keep the complexion very on brand, so I'm gonna set my full face with Huda setting powder. This is definitely my favorite when it comes to setting powder. It's so smoothing and mattifying. Just the best of the best. I always go back to this one. I am going to use this YSL bronzer. I've been really liking this one, the All Hours Hyper Bronze. I have shade number 2 in this one. This is a nice kind of just natural bronzer for fair skin that has a good neutral undertone. It's just so soft and natural on the skin. I do have a new blush to try out. I've been dying to try these cutie little Colourpop heart blushes. It's technically a lip and cheek balm, but I really want to try this out on the cheeks. This is Larchmont Village, which I think looks like this nice kind of rosy brown shade. Usually the Colourpop cream blushes I don't always love. I just feel like they're almost a little too natural, almost non-existent on the skin. So let's see how this one does, especially over powder. Now I did apply quite a bit there just straight from the blush, which I think actually helps the pigment for sure. But it honestly, it looks pretty good. It's a little glowy. It didn't really remove the foundation or anything. It blends out pretty good in my opinion. Doing it that way, I didn't get too much product. I do like to kind of softly blend my powder brush on top, just because I do like to stay pretty matte, and that had a little glow to it. We don't want to take it all away, but I do want to kind of blur those edges a little bit. But overall, like, that looks pretty good. That might be one of their best cream blushes yet. I kind of want to go for like a brown and nude on the lips, and I was thinking of trying this Laura Mercier combo. Like I was mentioning, they redid their Caviar line, and they also came out with new Caviar lip liners and these lipsticks, which are so creamy. I am very excited to try these on the lips because I just swatched them so far. But let's try this out with a brown lip. I don't know how this is gonna go, but let's start with this brown lip liner called Brown Tool. So it's definitely a very defined formula. It has a thin tip, and it's not too creamy. So that's how the lip liner looks. I think it's a nice consistency. It's a little more detailed. I like something a little more like soft, but I think that'll be good so it won't fade away as much. It's not super creamy. Now let's try this brown suede lipstick on top of it. Oh, that's pretty. These just look like velvet. It has the LM initials inside. Very luxe packaging. The magnetic closure, that's so nice. Oh yeah. That's a perfect combination. Overall, these are really pigmented and they feel just velvety on the lips. It's not a flat matte or anything like that. It's just a comfortable, like, I guess you would call it like a satin finish, but I think it's such a pretty color, especially with the gold on the eyes for a nice fall brown lip. It is really, really creamy though, so we'll have to see how this lasts. But here's the finished makeup. It looks honestly so good. I had so much fun playing with these products. Now I'm curious to see how these are gonna last. So of course I love to do little wear tests in these videos, and I'll update you guys throughout the day. So I will see you guys a bit later. 8 hours later, here's how we are looking. It's honestly looking pretty good. I did do the smallest little powder touch up just to kind of keep it consistent with how I normally wear my makeup. But yeah, we're just like a tiny bit shiny, but for 8 hours, this is really good for me. Now let's see which side looks better for primer. We have the Huda Easy Blur on this side, and on this side is actually the One Size, and personally I do feel like the Huda side is a little bit more shiny than the One Size side. It's not a huge difference, but oddly enough I feel like the blush actually looks better on the Huda side. So I don't know, there's like pros and cons of both, I guess. Let's do some powder here. Maybe the Huda is more makeup longevity, but maybe the One Size is just more mattifying. I find it so interesting that this side is more matte, but this side has more blush left over. I don't personally feel like this side is more blurred though. I know this is supposed to be a very blurring primer and help with pores, but I truly feel like there's not much that you can do for your pores in that area. I do feel like it kept our makeup on a long time, and it does look smoothing at first, but I just don't know if it's like a long wear smoothing. I just feel like once your kind of oils kind of seep through as your makeup settles, your pores are going to kind of show a little bit more. As far as the foundation goes, I feel like this has worn really nice. It's honestly looking good with both primers. It's still on my face after 8 hours without looking like a super slippery, greasy mess. So that's a win for me. Again, it's supposed to be more of a blurring foundation. I just like how natural it looks on the skin. It does not feel heavy whatsoever. I think this is a really nice foundation, and first application, I am very pleased with it. The Fantasy Cosmetica palette has stayed really well. Look how beautiful the eyes look. I do have a lot of problems with creasing sometimes, especially with more wet like shimmers, but these look flawless on the eyes. I don't think it's really faded at all. It just looks perfect to me. We did a beautiful kind of golden look. I really wish there was like a dark brown in this palette. I feel like that would have made it perfect for me, but I kind of love these fun enchanted forest type of tones. I definitely want to play a little bit more in the future with some of the greens and the blues and the purples in here, because it really is a very beautiful, just fun kind of jewel toned fall color story with an amazing formula. I love the Fantasy Cosmetica formula, and Amanda created such a gorgeous color story here. I do have a code with Fantasy Cosmetica. I think it's just LEAHJANAE for 10% off. I don't know if it works on collabs, but I'll have it down below. But really, really pleased with that palette. Such a gorgeous one from Fantasy Cosmetica. As far as my thoughts on the Laura Mercier Caviar Mascara, their new extravagant one, this one I actually feel like looks really nice. This is definitely better than their original Caviar formula. Is it the best of the best? I don't know if it would be in my top 5. I personally think I do have some mascaras that I like a little bit better, even some new drugstore ones I've tried that I like, but I mean, there is no flaking, no smudging, which is definitely a plus, but there's so many good mascaras on the market right now. This one wouldn't be my top 5. I think it's good, but it's not like mind-blowing, if that makes sense. These Colourpop blushes actually really did impress me. It has stayed really well on this side of the face. I don't know why this side is being crazy, and it kind of faded off of that side, but these are definitely one of their better cream blush formulas. If you had problems with the ones in the past being way too natural, way too light, or lifting any foundation, I had no issues with these. I think these are so pretty, and I guess you can use it as a little balm as well. Obviously our lip color has kind of faded off. I didn't even reapply today, but I'm going to put a little bit of this just to kind of freshen up the lips. But that actually looks really cute too. So it's like a little 2-in-1. But yeah, these are definitely worth checking out. Plus you get the cute heart packaging from Colourpop. So adorable. The Laura Mercier lip liners. These actually stayed really well on the lips. That's how I still have kind of my base color going there. They're not too creamy. They're almost a little bit too hard for me, where I feel like the lines are a little bit too precise. That's just me being nitpicky about it. Where I can just notice the lip line, you know, even with smoothing it out. That's kind of annoying, but also that just happens sometimes with darker colors. But I do think it is a nice lip liner formula. And I absolutely love these new lipsticks as well. They're very comfortable on the lips, and I do feel like they are long wearing too, without feeling like super dry and matte. Of course, like I've worn this for 8 hours. I didn't touch it up, so mine obviously faded a little bit, but I thought it held up well for a regular just lipstick, since lipsticks are not usually super long wearing unless it's a very matte or like a liquid lipstick. So that's my thoughts on today's new makeup. Let me know, have you guys picked any of these things up? Is there anything you're going to be trying out? I feel like we had a pretty good array of products today. I'm so happy to have a Huda foundation that I really like, since I am such a big fan of the brand. But I'm gonna let you guys go. All products in this video will be linked down below, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys.